Inside your bedroom, we stopped counting the days, lost in the rhythm.
Has been a very busy month full of vacation, lots of writing, started editing, holy moly, and I'm in 2 college classes right now. So we will do a quick recap in a minute, but before, I'm gonna grab a cookie and we're gonna sit down and talk. Another big project that we started in the month of June is what I'm calling the writing room. It is an extra room in our house that forever and ever just had boxes and storage stuff. Like, we still have Finn's crib in here, but now it is slowly turning into the writing room or my workspace. I have my lights for YouTube, got my table in here now. It's been nice because I haven't had to tear down and set up for like my Zoom meetings, for classes. I also, over here in the corner, have a little shipping center set up of all of the Kickstarter things because that ended in June and I have everything for fulfillment minus the actual omnibus books. So I've been trying to update everybody. If you backed, just in case somebody watching this has backed the Kickstarter, I've been trying to update everybody as I go on my social media, on the actual stream page on Kickstarter. So that is what I am down to. All I need are the actual omnibus books to come in. I need to spray the edges silver and then they're pretty much all ready to ship out. So we had the writing room, Kickstarter. I got the edits back and finished the final edits for Curse of Wings and Darkness. And I am now working on the interior formatting, getting that set up. I'm collecting interested people for ARC readers. So if you're interested, click the link in my description. There is a place to apply. So I'm doing that. Taking 2 college classes, getting ready to do internship and practicum hours for my LPC certification. I expanded into the world of editing. So if you need a book editor, you can book me right now until the end of June and get 50% off. That goes away starting in July. I am starting to fill up, actually. I have, I think, 6 editing sessions, and I have at least one a month all the way through February. So I'm starting to fill up a little bit. So if you're interested, let me know so we can book dates. And if you do that this week, you get 50% off. So that's fun. So I'm editing. What else is going on? Holy moly. I've been reading a lot, which is fun. And next month I start working on editing projects for clients. And all the while, it hasn't really happened much, but I am trying to draft Trial of Flame and Wings, which is my fantasy romance sort of dragon-y book. It's fully engrossed in a complete fantasy world. So really fun, excited to get back to my roots and do some like really in-depth character and setting building. It's been fun. But needless to say, June has had a lot going on. I needed to take a breath, so bear with me. How have I been doing in the month of June? Well, I am very excited to say that if you've been around a while, you know that I have kind of a history of anxiety around travel, especially being in a car, and then more recently being in an airplane. And I am very excited to say that my recent travels, my vacation to Cancun, was not super anxiety inducing. I think I may actually make the July Read Books, Be Kind video. I think I may actually make that a little bit more of an in-depth talk about kind of my history with that. I'll either do that, or at some point I also want to make a video for that series about writing characters with anxiety, because I myself have an anxiety disorder. That is something I'm very passionate and interested in working with clients in the future. So while I'm not certified yet as an LPC, I do feel like I have a bit of insight just having that personal piece there, and also having a little bit of knowledge of the background to maybe talk a little bit about some things you could do to better craft characters with anxiety without being too on the nose and too obvious, or like displaying them as being like manic all the time. I think sometimes the way anxiety is portrayed, it's portrayed as being in a panic, and only that's like the only key feature there, and that's not always the case. And so I kind of am interested in talking a little bit about crafting characters like that, especially since watching Inside Out 2. So maybe that will be next month's video. I have quite a few ideas for the Read Books, Be Kind series. So if you have thoughts or things that you might like to see in that series, let me know below. In a lot of ways, June has been mostly for friends and family time and my own personal like mental health time. So June especially really reminded me how important it is to slow down and take time off. And I am still getting to a place where doing that is not triggering for my anxiety, because in the past, especially this year, taking time off wouldn't necessarily send me into a panic, but would make coming back really overwhelming, to the point that I would be anticipating that feeling and not be able to relax the entire time that I was taking time off. So that has been something that in part inspired the Read Books, Be Kind series, but also has been something that I've been trying to take intentional time to do. And so June was a lot of that intentional time for me. So the vacation was nice. It was just Alex and I, and we were at a resort in Mexico. And so everything was literally about relaxation. I got a massage at this beautiful spa. It had like an indoor cave. that I just floated in. It was gorgeous. Oh my gosh. And especially that minute when I went to that spa because I was not feeling great that morning. I was actually thinking about skipping a lot of the day and staying in our hotel room at the resort. And I decided, you know what? I'm pretty sure that I am just anxious. I do this every time I'm on vacation. I'm going to go because I told myself on the trip, worst case, I throw up or I pass out and then I just go sit in the hotel room. um, I don't have medical issues because I've already been through that whole thing about a year ago. There was the whole vlog where I went to the ER and it just turned out to be anxiety issues. And so all of my physical symptoms were just somatic symptoms, which means they were brought on by anxious thoughts so that you had physical symptoms. And that's all I was experiencing. And so I told myself that and went to the spa, and I was completely right. Once I started into like the steam room, we did hydrotherapy. Once I started the whole process, I was able to unwind and just focus on those moments and enjoying relaxation and floating in that pool, that cave pool, and just looking up at the open sky was, one, beautiful, but two, really, really taught me and reminded me that not only do I need to learn how to take time off, but I need to make it routine. Because since I've become an author, I have been working pretty much full-time all the time. I work on the weekends because I was working full-time as a school counselor, and so any free time I had to write was precious. And while the act of writing does reset me and relaxes me, a lot of the work I'm doing is not always that writing portion. Sometimes it's like the marketing and the planning and the finances and everything that goes into being an author and running an LLC. And so now that I have kind of decluttered my life a bit, slowed things down, I've moved into a different line of work that's not going to be quite as busy and overloading, I think. And I can set my own schedule so I can decide how much I want to take on with my author roles and such. So everything's going to be more on my own terms, which I'm really excited about. I have realized this month that what I need to do is sit down and like pick a day a week where I am completely off, at least one day. Really, it would be nice to have a whole weekend where I am off. But I think that is what I need to do. I need to at least take a Saturday off every week, or maybe I do a Friday, Saturday. I think at the clinic I'm going to work at, it sounds like a lot of people don't work on Fridays or they take half days. So maybe that's even doable, is doing a half day and then a whole day off every week. And when I mean off from therapy stuff and off from writing. I need it to be strictly therapeutic and like hitting a reset button every week, because I have a strong tendency to fill my time, especially with author stuff, and sometimes I fall into the pitfall of every little bit I can throw at this is going to pay off in the long run, to the point that I burn myself out, and what I'm able to put out is not actually all that fruitful and productive. So that has been something I've learned in June and am working on doing better going into next month. I was also planning to bring back the weekly live stream event, and I would still really like to do that, but for the time being, I'm not so gung-ho about doing that, just because it meant it extended my work day, like my work week. And so for now, I'm gonna hold off on that and see what things look like into the fall, because I would hate to start doing that now, because I'm so stubborn. I know that I would carry it on until I was burnt out with it. So I'm gonna wait on implementing it until I can set that schedule. Like I was just talking about, taking at least a day, maybe two off a week, until I can really solidify what like a work schedule will look like for me. I'm not going to try taking on more than I already have kind of decided I'm going to. Like the editing's different because I've already started to schedule that, and I'm taking on clients based on what I know will fit in the seasons of like upcoming seasons for me. And so that's a little bit different, but I don't want to take on too many things, especially like the live stream every week, because it was one of my lower level marketing techniques. It didn't work super well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed sitting and working with the people online, and it was fruitful in that I was getting a lot of work done, having that protected time, but also it was not watched super well like the rest of my videos on YouTube and some of my other events. And so I think that I may wait on bringing that back for a while and maybe just do it case by case, like maybe once a month or for specific events if I have time. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wait on taking a lot more on and setting dates for some of my projects. Like I haven't set a publication date for Trial Flame and Wings yet, just because I want to get an idea of what a work schedule is going to look like for me and what that means for me personally, emotionally, and for my family. So I think that's pretty much all of the updates and my thoughts for June. Going into July, I'm going to try to implement some of these things. So my goal is to set kind of a weekly schedule for myself going into July. I am hoping to start working in a clinic because I can start accumulating hours towards my internship and practicum over the summer. So I'm hoping after the 4th of July to start working with a clinic in town for therapy things. So that will help me kind of set a schedule, because having that structure of a work day at the clinic will kind of help me to figure out exactly where everything will fall. So a lot of July will just be implementing that, and then therapy things, because I'll be finishing, hopefully testing and finishing some of that going into the fall. So and hopefully getting back to writing Trial of Flame and Wings. I have been missing that. So hopefully I'll get around to finishing that also now that I'm finishing up work on the interior formatting for Curse of Wings and Darkness and Kickstarter fulfillment, because my plan in the next couple of weeks, once the omnibus comes in, is to start shipping that out, and then I'll be done with Kickstarter fulfillment for the Guardians of the Sixth Gate Completed Trilogy Special Edition. So I think that's pretty much everything. This video has been a little rambly. I did not update you guys throughout the month like I usually do, just because I had so many events. But yeah, thank you for all of your kind comments you always leave. Let me know below what kind of things you'd like to see next month, on other kind of videos you might like me to do or things to talk about. I would love to hear your suggestions. But otherwise, read books, be kind. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!